Okay, here are the stories heading your way. Hollywood fighting back as the weight debate rages. Lady Gaga, facing criticism, strips down and confesses to a deep secret as two other stars make shocking eating disorder confessions. In today's big story, we're exploring how Demi Lovato's personal struggle encouraged Couric to courageously reveal her darkest days. We have their harrowing tales next. Plus, fall's fabulous fashion trends. Leather's making a comeback, so what will Peter say? Plus, right here in our studio, pitch perfect rising star Hannah Mae Lee, and she's dishing about her hilarious singing ensemble. It's all next on The Daily Buzz. Lady Gaga is fighting back and confessing that she suffered from bulimia and anorexia since the age of 15. Welcome to The Daily Buzz. I'm Dylan Howard. Now, the stars are fighting back, as I said, after their weight is scrutinised. Now it's Lady Gaga admitting to a long-time problem. And joining us in studio is entertainment reporter and radio host Hyla. Welcome from LA, celebrity nutritionist Hayley Pomeroy. And coming to us from Berkeley, California, Dr. Sarah Gottfried. Ladies, we're glad that you could join us here to discuss this story. I want to first show you the moment where Demi acknowledged as a little girl that she had some weight issues.
When I started to have body image issues, I remember being 3 years old in a diaper and rubbing my hand over my stomach and just feeling like I remember thinking in my head, I wonder if one day this will ever be flat. And
at 3 years old?
At 3.
Shocking to think that she had insecurities about her body at just 3 years old. Hayley Pomeroy, to you, is that realistic? Is it possible that a 3-year-old could have body image issues?
I definitely think so. I mean, I have a daughter myself, and it's amazing what they come home thinking after gymnastics classes or dance classes, and they, compare themselves to other little girls, and sometimes they're told to kind of suck their tummies in at that young of an age, and it's not shocking to me, unfortunately, at all. It's very sad, and I think we need to make sure that we talk to our little girls about how amazing and the power of food and how good it is and how it can make you, jump higher and be stronger and all the wonderful things about it instead of focusing on it being a bad thing that causes something negative to happen to your body.
But how could a 3-year-old have body image issues? Is it the people around her, or is it innately something that they just get when they're born? They have.
Yeah, we've got to think about the fact that Demi is such a bright girl. She's very bright, she's very sensitive, and I think that kids pick up on, everything from TV, but like I said, also comparing themselves to other little kids at that early age. So yes, there is a lot of adult influence, a lot of media influence that can make kids have a perception of the difference between right and wrong. I mean, we look at our dolls, we look at our princesses out there, and we're seeing more and more diversity, which is great for kids, but really it's kind of a hard situation to grow up in, looking at the media exposure to body and body images. And kids are like parrots. They pick up things so quickly. And a lot of times when maybe as parents or as adults or teachers around them, we are focusing on our own body images, kids themselves just pick that up. They're like little sponges. So it's not shocking to me at all. Like I said, you've also got a very bright, very sensitive woman that I'm sure was a bright, sensitive kid also.
Dr. Gottfried, what is the root cause of this issue? It is an epidemic in this country that young people feel that they are not good enough, that they suffer from eating disorders. But what is the root cause of the problem? Is it society?
I would say the root cause is society. Definitely we have an epidemic of, I would say, a national eating disorder. It affects women more than men. And I think the root cause is really the conditioning that we have. It's the media influence that we have to be thin, to be beautiful at all costs. And some people would say that some of the root is shame, that if we're not thin, if we're not smart, if we're not glamorous, we're less than. And that's what I think is happening here.
So, Hyla, to you, who's creating this problem then? Is it the magazines? Is it the celebrities that have a desire to be skinny?
I think it's a combination of a lot of things, and giving some specific examples to what these ladies are talking about. The first show that pops in my mind is Toddlers and Tiara. I mean, they talk about having to be thin and having to be spray painted, and while maybe a 3-year-old doesn't quite grasp exactly what their feelings are, they're already being trained so young, like, oh, I gotta look really good, I gotta look sparkly, I gotta be on stage, I gotta do all this stuff. So at such an early age, they're already being told, yo, you better step up how you look. And of course, guys are dogs. We all judge women on how they look, and then that already is an insecurity. Then you trying to step into Hollywood? Are you crazy? How many times I know friends that are actors or models, and they are skinny minis, and they walk out of a modeling agency being told, you need to lose 10 more pounds.
Yeah.
10 more of what? From where? It's crazy.
Dr. Gottfried, what effect do men have on women wanting to lose weight to be that perfect person?
You know, I'm not going to blame it all on the men, because I think women do this to each other as well. But what I want to do is to not blame the woman who is struggling with an eating disorder. And what I think is so unspoken in our country is the desperation that women feel to be thin, to be glamorous. And I don't think it's actually the fault of the men. I think it's actually bigger than that.
And people like Demi Lovato have become big advocates for positive body image messaging, and it was her just last week who took aim at a tabloid magazine after they posted a photo of a very skinny Duchess, Kate Middleton, and the suggestion being that she was pregnant because the back of her dress had split open. And Demi Lovato had a point of view about that, and the fact that she was honest is a good thing. So also during the episode of Katie Couric yesterday, it was very interesting to see the TV talk show host admit that she also suffered from an eating disorder, something that we had never heard from until yesterday.
I wrestled with bulimia all through college and for 2 years after that. And I know this rigidity, this feeling that if you eat one thing that's wrong, you're full of self-loathing, and then you punish yourself, whether it's one cookie or a stick of gum that isn't sugarless. That I would sometimes beat myself up for that.
Dr. Gottfried, what kind of message is Katie sending to people? Is this the right thing to do, to say, hey, I've been in a struggle like yourself?
I think this is a glorious message. I applaud Katie. I really feel like we've got to talk about this. We've got to talk about the anorexic adolescent body image that is being promoted as what our girls and our women are supposed to aspire to. So I applaud Katie Couric. I think this is fantastic news.
As we mentioned at the top of the show, Lady Gaga is also defending her weight while on tour in Amsterdam. Photos of a heavier Lady Gaga in a meat costume had people suggesting that she was pregnant. Kelly Osbourne, who is one person who has always advocated against negative body images, went on London radio and said that she was pregnant. Other celebrities called her names. Now, after all of this criticism, today the mother monster posted a photo of herself on her website and admitted that she's been suffering from bulimia and anorexia since she was age 15. This is the kind of important message that needs to be sent to today's society. Hyla, I was shocked that Gaga would do that, to post a photo, but it is the most emphatic message.
Well, there was a photo that was posted before the one that she did on stage, and I feel she might have been forced into coming out and saying something and addressing it in some capacity. I mean, she definitely has not shied away from, look at how skinny I am, look how beautiful I am, and look at her videos and her appearances. I mean, she loves to show off her body. Now she's put on a few pounds. She's still crazy thin. In the photo that she posted today, there's nothing big about her.
No, nothing at all. Nothing at all. But I wanted to ask you, Dr. Gottfried, it is important, though, to manage a healthy lifestyle. And we talk about this body image stuff, but people really need to find a balance because healthy living is so crucial today.
Very true. Absolutely true. I want the message to be that we want to eat healthy, nourishing food. But just as Katie was describing, she talked about the guilt you feel if you make a radical vow to change how you eat or restrict what you're eating. You know, women do this every Monday. And what happens is that we feel so guilty when we eat nourishing food. So I think the way out is exactly what you described, which is to find the healthy balance. Women are made to have rounded bellies. So just like you were describing earlier, the 3-year-old who's feeling her belly and is starting to get those messages that she needs to have a more flat belly at age 3, we need to promote the image that having a more rounded belly is normal. So yes, that goes with the more balanced approach to food.
And Kim Kardashian is another celebrity who has flaunted her curves and showed off her fuller figure to say that being that size is A-OK. Dr. Gottfried, when you see images like the ones of Kim Kardashian, how does that impact a little girl? Positively or negatively? Because I think it could go both ways.
I think you're right. I really feel like I have 2 daughters. I have a 7 and a 12-year-old. So this is right in my backyard. And I really think it's important that we promote the healthy, nourished body. So that's the kind of message that I want our American girls and American women to see. Women who are in balance, who are balancing their hormones with how they eat, who are getting regular movement and exercise, and it's not the extremes.
All right. Nutritionist Hayley Pomeroy and Dr. Sarah Gottfried, thank you very much for educating us a little bit more about this very important subject. And Hyla, I think as an industry, we really need to do some things as well, because this negativity and cutting celebrities down is just not going to survive.
Well, there is a trend. I mean, you mentioned Kim Kardashian, Christina Hendricks comes to mind from Mad Men, and then Jessica Simpson was just doing the rounds. Christina Aguilera walked out on The Voice and said, hey, I'm not thin anymore. I think a lot of it is definitely the industry, but also the parents at home say, you're good the way you are.
All right, for more on Demi's struggles and Katie Couric, head on over to the website celebbuzz.com. Coming up, we have a star of the new comedy Pitch Perfect. She will be here to join us in studio. But first, listen up. We've got the most talked about fall fashion trends heading your way next here on the Daily Buzz.